Okay, I'm Pum Lefebure. I'm a co-founder and chief creative officer of Design Army in Washington, D.C.
Okay, so you spoke about seduction and mastering the arts of seduction.
Uh-huh.
So tell me a bit more about that. What exactly did you? What was your key takeouts from today? What do you hope people will take home from what you had to say today?
So my topic was master the art of seduction, and pretty much, the whole talk was about how marketing is a lot like dating. First step, we marketers have to flirt, and that's how we get our audience attention. Then we romance, you introduce your brands to the target market and get them to interested in your brand. And then it's seduce, and that's the hard part. And that's what we do as a designer, as ad agency. We have to learn how to seduce consumer better through design.
Okay. And what do you hope the audience would have learned from that?
What I hope the audience learn from my talk is, maybe pay attention a little bit more on the craft of making a good piece of art direction, craft of using design to be a medium to help communicate their campaign. Most people think design is very executional, but design actually is very strategic. The design is no longer cosmetic. I think designer has the ability to think conceptually as well as think holistically. More and more, CMO would ask designer to be part of the creative team at the very beginning stage, because they truly understand that the way our brains work is a little bit different.
And can you comment on the state of creativity in DC, in America,
Mm-hmm.
and just in general, the current state of creativity at the moment?
I think the current stage of creativity is chaos. It's extremely chaos. There's so many mediums popping every day, and we have to keep up. What we create today may not be relevant 6 months from now, and you kind of need to learn how to accept that, because just everything is going so fast. So you have to be student every day and learn and relearn and try to understand everything. But one thing that you should never cut short on is the craft and the creativity and the love and the passion that you have as an art director or as the copywriter, because the creativity is the only thing is going to make that brand much more distinct than the one next door, right? It's all about data and statistic and all that BS, which it's not BS, but it's like, sometimes as creative, you kind of feel like, your hand get tied and you can't be creative, but that's not true. I think you have to kind of look past that and fight for the creatives.
So why, is this your first time in South Africa and at the Lourdes?
Yes, I was excited to be invited by Andrew, and it is my first time in South Africa. So I want to come to this region. I judge everywhere, all over the world, but this is the only region that I have not been. And it was really interesting to see the work. There's a big difference between the work from South Africa versus the work from the Middle East. But what I see that both regions has in common is like they're still very rooted in traditional design sensibility, and that's a good thing. I love when I see pieces that authentically to the region, because that's how your brand is different than the brand next door. We live in the world as everything is globalization now, and everything tends to be the same. Doesn't matter where you are, in Bangkok, in China, in Tokyo, in New York, San Francisco, London. Everything, you can find Starbucks anywhere, right? So, that's fine. The world is easy and big that way, but how can you make your brand distinct and different? And looking, in order to look forward and be ahead, you also have to look backward at your root, at your root of where you came from, and what make your design, your copywriting, and your craft different than other, and bring that background into your creative work.
Yeah, just in light of Women's Month, what are some of the opportunities or challenges that you've had to face in getting to where you are today? And what would your message be to other aspiring women?
So my message for other women is, go after your dreams. But dreams doesn't work unless you do. So whatever you want in life, you have to go after it. Of course, hard work and always pay it off. And you always have to have a vision of where you want to be 5 or 10 years from now. Without vision, it's really, really hard to score. So have that vision and go after it, and don't listen and ignore all the noises that people say, no, you're a woman, you cannot do this, or a woman won't end up, lead, or be up in the food chain. That's all BS. I think it's all about how much you want it, and only you can make yourself, get to that very, very top.